last night I was watching WWE Raw, and it was the go home show for the Royal Rumble, and I'm watching this show and I'm trying to enjoy myself, and then out of nowhere I end up falling asleep on a go home show of Monday Night Raw. I've never fallen asleep on the go home show of Monday Night Raw, and simply speaking, I enjoy wrestling and I enjoy Monday Night Raw, and I should never fall asleep on a go home show. This is a preparation show for a pay-per-view, and here I am falling asleep on it. And yes, I work hard, but I don't work that hard to miss out on the things that I enjoy. I don't understand some of the angles that WWE are taking, but I do feel like some things need to change. I'm tired of certain things in the WWE, certain things that I don't understand, and I don't know why they try to put it off and try to make us roll with the punches and roll with these things when they're completely and utterly delusional. One problem that I'm really having right now, one thing that I'm really having trouble and struggling understanding is the flip-flop heel to face to heel to face to heel. Like Paige, the situation that's going on with Paige right now is just mind-boggling. In 1 week, you can be beefing with every diva in the Divas division, and then the next week, you're coming out with Natalya. I don't understand the logic or the thought process of thinking that we're supposed to believe this. And let me state this to all of my guys who normally tune in for COD. I understand WWE is not real. I understand that. A lot of these things in this world is not real. A lot of shows that you watch, a lot of reality TV is not real. That's not why I tune in. I tune in because it's a show and it's entertainment. But when you bring someone entertainment, the entertainment should be entertaining and should make sense. It's an insult of my intelligence for you to put out a product that I'm just supposed to accept when I'm knowing that there's something wrong with it. So that's the reason why I go off on rants about the WWE. I do understand that it's fake, but I am a fan, and damn it, I want my shit like I want my shit. Another thing that really bothers me about the WWE currently right now is how I can sit down next to my wife, and my wife has no real interest in the WWE, but she partakes in the show because it's something that her husband enjoys, and she likes to spend time with her husband. So some occasions she does watch the show with me, and I can sit there and I can tell her exactly what's going to happen, exactly who's going to sneak attack, and I can basically do the whole show just by talking to her. I can tell her everything that's going to happen in the show. I'm tired of it being so predictable. Why does it have to be to the point where a seasoned veteran of watching WWE like myself can predict the outcome? That's what writers are paid for, to make it unpredictable, to keep people coming in. And when you're giving us a predictable result each and every show, then that is a problem. That's something that you need to fix. Somebody needs to get fired. Somebody needs to get hired. Something needs to happen as my phone goes off. But something needs to happen. Something needs to change. And these predictable results are they're not needed for the brand. They dumb down the brand. And you shouldn't want to dumb down a brand if you're trying to drive home. It feels like in certain situations that it's like, fuck you, we're the biggest game in town, we're the only game in town anybody even cares about, and we're going to do things half-assed because we can and there's nowhere else you can go. And that's not how you grow as a business. You grow by being innovative, not just falling in line and doing what you think you can get over with doing. Another thing that bothers me about the WWE, you have a developmental league. You have a developmental league in NXT. Anytime you bring up someone from NXT to the main roster, they're basically shat upon. They're shat on. In all instances, like You can only name a handful of people that's come up to the main roster from NXT who've actually survived or who've actually done good for themselves. Look at Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas is a perfect example of a fucking puppet that could have been something better. You could have booked Bo Dallas so many different ways. Hell, you could have booked him in the Wyatt family with his brother. You could have booked him all kinds of ways instead of booking him the way that you're booking him. Now he's in a faction that doesn't even fucking matter. Sasha Banks. But I'll get into Sasha Banks a little bit more later. I mean, the list can go on and on and on of talent that comes up from the NXT, that thrives in NXT, that put on 4 and 5 star matches in NXT, but they come up to the main roster and they're shat upon every single time. And that's not how you grow your business too, because you'll be in a position like you're in now where you have 7, 8, 9 guys that are injured, main event talents and faces that are injured, and now you don't have nobody to take your place because nobody's developed. They went through developmental, but when they came to the main roster, they wasn't developed as a main player, and that's a problem. In my perfect WWE world, I would change up a few things. I would bring a few things back. A few things will change. A few people will change. One thing that I want to see come back to professional wrestling in WWE is announcers calling out movesets. Calling out moves. I don't want to hear about how JBL seen Luthias or seen the Nature Boy or seen Booker T do something years ago. That's years ago. Push this talent. Develop this talent. Tell us something good about this talent that's in the ring. Tell us what moves they're doing. Like the youth nowadays, they probably, you say lariat, they say, what the hell is that? A guy? Lariat? Who's lariat? They wouldn't know what a lariat is because moves aren't called out. They don't have to do research on what a move name is because they don't know what the moves are because they're never said. We need to leave the whole past in the past and let's bring in move sets and all right. I say leave the past in the past, meaning the people of the past. But bring back the style of commentating that we were grown and groomed to love. People of my generation love. Back in the day, you could watch wrestling and you would hear, like, they would call out the whole thing from drop toe holds to arm bars to headlocks. They don't do that anymore. Where is that at? Bring it on back, man. Everybody would appreciate it. I'm telling you, trust me, everyone will appreciate it. We always hear them pushing Brock Lesnar as the beast incarnate and as a beast. But why is it on every single go-home show, he gets his ass beat like a fucking stepchild? Any other time he's dominant in the ring, he'll come in and he'll clear out a ring. But when it's time for the go-home show, either the opponent that he's going up against or some outside interference come in and they squash him like a bug. They make him look like nothing. How can we believe that he's a dominant force if every single go-home show before a pay-per-view, you squash him? Mind you, he does limited dates. So before a pay-per-view, he's guaranteed to get his ass whooped? What sense does that make? If you're going to bill him as a beast, then have him be a beast. Have him losing be a shocker instead of before the go-home show. Usually, I used to have a philosophy. Like, every time during the 11 o'clock hour on a go-home show, whoever got their ass whooped was 9 times out of 10 the person that was going to win your event. And it just seemed like it. If you go back, you go on the network, look at some old Raws before go-home shows before pay-per-views, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see one of the main characters that is supposed to win get their ass kicked at the go-home show. Guarantee it. Check it out. Let me know in the comment section. Check it out, though. I also think that it would help out a lot if the United States and the Intercontinental titles were unified. There's not a brand split anymore. There doesn't need to be 2 mid-level titles. 1 mid-level title. I don't know what you want to call it. Call it fucking, I don't know, whatever. But I don't think that the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title should be both in existence at the same time. You should combine them together and have one mid-card champion. That's it. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I didn't touch on it in the amount of depth that I'm going to touch on it right now. And I feel like the factions in WWE right now, these faction groups, the League of Nations, League of Losers, League of Legends, whatever the hell they're called, and the social misfits, degenerates, social network, whatever the hell they called. I don't think that factions are needed right now. I truly think that the New Day is pushing the envelope. I think they're pushing it a little too far. I don't think that any factions should exist simply because they're in a crisis right now. You need to develop talent, and having fractions just it waters down the brand to me. I mean, we did have success out of Evolution. Evolution was a beautiful faction. It was actually one of the best ran factions that I ever seen besides DX. But I just think that factions need to go somewhere. I don't think that they fit in the big scheme of things in wrestling right now. I think that we should push the tag team division more rather than pushing these factions, these pointless gang of guys, groups, boy bands, whatever you want to call them. I just feel like factions need to go away. To go along with the Intercontinental and U.S. titles being unified, I feel like the Cruiserweight division should be back. And I feel like it should be a botch-free Cruiserweight division. In a lot of matches with Cruiserweight athletes here recently, you see a lot of botches. And you guys know the two guys that I'm talking about. They were on the same team at one point. Well, one of them's injured right now, though, Sin Cara. But Kalisto and Sin Cara, you see a lot of botches. And I feel like to bring the Cruiserweight title back and to bring the Cruiserweight division back will give some of the lighter guys a chance and an opportunity to hold a championship. Because I feel like with the whole philosophy that Vince McMahon has with the big guys, I feel like sometimes your talented, smaller guys get shafted. And if you could bring back the light heavyweight or cruiserweight title, it would be a great addition to WWE in general and a great addition to our TV. Because, I mean, who wouldn't want to see a cruiserweight match? It's full of excitement. I'm a fan of the Money in the Bank. Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm a fan of the Money in the Bank match. I like it. I've always have. Before I had the network, I would always buy Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, and sometimes SummerSlam, depending upon how I felt. But those would be the main four that I would buy before I got the network. And I've always liked Money in the Bank simply because of the whole allure of a person having a contract and be able to cash it in whenever they felt like it. But with that being said, I don't think that the Money in the Bank pay-per-view should exist anymore. I think the Money in the Bank match should only be a WrestleMania match. It shouldn't be a whole pay-per-view dedicated to it, being that the titles are unified now. It's only one match, so it's just basically a regular pay-per-view with a Money in the Bank match at the end. Why not just throw the Money in the Bank match in WrestleMania? And with that being said, too, I also believe, or feel in my heart, not believe, but I feel that Hell in a Cell should be gone too. Hell in a Cell should be gone too. I feel like the Money in the Bank can be replaced with Slamboree. I mean, you own the rights to WCW. Use Slamboree. And I think that Hell in a Cell should be replaced with Halloween Havoc. I think if they brought those two pay-per-views in and eliminated the other two pay-per-views, it will add a little bit more diversity to the WWE brand. And it'll give you something that you to look forward to. Something different. Like, if you start announcing after WrestleMania that Slamboree was returning, you'll bring back people who are nostalgic for WCW content, and you'll open the door to all the new people who didn't watch WCW back in those days to enjoy some Slamboree. So bring back Slamboree, bring back Halloween Havoc. I know WWE appeals a lot to the youth and the kids, and there's no problem with that. I respect that. But what WWE has to realize is that the kids are the future, but the adults are the ones who buy the seats. So let's make it a little bit more appealing to your adult audience, because a lot of adults can't be fooled like a lot of kids can. And not saying the kids are fools by any means. They just don't know as much as an adult does. And I feel like that you should possibly appeal more to your adult audience and do things to like make your adult audience think. Divas. Total divas. Divas Division. Diva of the year. She's a diva. Stop with the diva branding. Bring back the women's branding. You have a lot of good women wrestlers, from Sasha Banks to Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Bayley. Like, you have a lot of good women's wrestlers. And I feel like they don't embody the definition of a diva to me. They embody the definition of a woman that works hard and wants to succeed. A diva to me is somebody that's over the top, needs everything handed to them, and wants things their way all the time. Whereas a woman is strong. A woman raises their family, raises their kids, and takes care of their families, and goes to work and cooks meals and does all the things that women do. And they're strong definitions of women, not divas. So I think personally that the Divas division should close, should be shut down, take the belt, throw it out back, burn it, bring back the old women's title, bring back the women's division. I think that will make WWE a whole lot better in the long run. And it will, like, you putting in a young girl's mind the diva thing when you want them to grow up to be women. And it's all about the kids, right? So why don't you have these young girls looking up to women instead of looking up to divas? For years and years, we've seen Vince McMahon beefing with wrestlers, and Triple H beefing with wrestlers, and Stephanie beefing with wrestlers. And I feel like at this point, the whole authority gimmick needs to go away. It don't have to go away forever, but it needs to go away for a while. The whole authority thing is it's out of hand. One day, you have Stephanie McMahon going off at Roman Reigns about the championship, the title, and everything. Then the next day, you have Stephanie McMahon and Roman Reigns giving a check to Roof Lions. Like, I don't know. I understand that it's fake. I understand that. Before you get in the comment section saying that shit's fake, I know it's fucking fake. I don't need nobody to tell me that. I know. But, like, I don't know. Let them be bosses away from the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got, on the other hand, okay, here's another prime example. You have Triple H on Raw, who is a dick. But then you got him on NXT, where he's the Godfather, and everybody loves him, and he takes selfies and puts his thumb in the air and smiles and shit. Why are you trying to fool us? Like, I know it's scripted, but damn, like, shit. Just get rid of the authority. Let these guys be bosses. Do your fucking general manager thing again, or whatever the hell you want to do, but I feel like the authority needs to go away. We were grown past the authority days. It's over. Just get rid of it. Bye. See you later, authority. Peace. Bye-bye. There's two wrestlers that I want to see. Two wrestlers that I want to see. I want to see more of Sasha Banks. And I want you guys to go, I don't know where, go to the bar, go to the gym, go wherever. Dig up Damian Sandow and bring him back to TV. Damien Sandow was over. He was over with the crowd. And I don't know what happened. I guess, okay, I'll tell you exactly what happened. He was over with the crowd as Miz down. Then the split. Then somebody in the back decided, oh, well, let's have him do the Macho Man, and let's have the other guy do Hulk Hogan. So then Hulk Hogan got in trouble, which is a whole nother story. I mean, for real. Okay, a side note. Hulk Hogan got in trouble, but me being who I am, and as you all can see, the color of my skin, I feel like Hulk Hogan should be forgiven. Period. I feel like he should be forgiven. People mess up every day. He messed up. But he is a legend, and he did help catapult professional wrestling. And I feel like Hulk Hogan should be forgiven, and he should be able to return. I feel like in a lot of senses, in a lot of instances, and this is just me talking, that he just got busted doing what a lot of people do anyway. He got busted with his pants down, per se, and I just feel like he should be allowed to come back. But with that being said, I feel like Damien Sandow should not have been shelved. We wanted Damien Sandow, and y'all pushed him back. As well as Sasha Banks. Right now, like, how did you had every week you have We Want Sasha chants, but you barely wrestle her. She wasn't even on Raw last week. Or the week before, I don't think. Like, we want Sasha Banks. Give us Sasha Banks. I don't want to see The Big Show, Kane, Mark Henry, or R-Truth, or hell, even Braun Strowman. All those guys I don't want to see anymore. I feel like if you gave R-Truth a push where you shut him the fuck up and you had him wrestle, he would be okay. I think he's still in good ring shape. But the other guys that I mentioned, Big Show, he had his day. Kane, he had his day. Mark Henry, of course, he had his day. Braun Strowman doesn't need a day. Yes, he hasn't had it, but he doesn't need it. He's extremely stiff in the ring, and I don't even think he can last in a 4-minute match by himself. But I don't want to see these guys anymore. Give me some new, fresh talent with good, fresh, new moves. I want to enjoy WWE. And with that being said, too, I got another thing to add. And this is from the hip, because this isn't even written in my notes. But I don't want to see The Undertaker anymore. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, it's The Undertaker, he's a legend, it's that, and the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. I understand that, but I feel like it's time for him to hang the boots up. Dallas, Texas should be his last show. I enjoy it. See, you go so long, kind of like Roy Jones in boxing, or, he's the perfect example. Once you try so hard past your prime time, you start to kill your legacy. And I feel like a lot of his in-ring performances, The Undertaker, are lacking. Everybody say, oh, he looks good, but why should you put a stipulation on him because of his age? He looks good for his age. No. Leave us with the memories of the guy that was just dominant. Don't leave us with memories of, oh, he was good for his age. He was wrestling at 50. And the same thing goes with Sting, too. I mean, the Sting, you know what I'm saying? He made his debut in WWE and everything. Had a knockdown drag out with Seth Rollins, but it's just time to go. Like, you guys are legends. It's time for you all to be retired and just let us live through the network. But I definitely feel like The Undertaker should be done. I feel like Sting should be done. Big Show, Kane, Mark Henry, done. Braun Strowman, let him be a bodyguard or something in the crowd or something. I don't know what the fuck y'all want to do with him. But in R-Truth, if you're not going to push him, and you're going to keep making him be out to be the crazy black guy that doesn't know what he's talking about and is stupid as fuck, then he needs to go too. I just realized in this whole video, day turned into night pretty quick. But That's what happens when you work. You know, day turns into night. By the time you get home, get a video out, it gets dark. But for real, that's pretty much all I had. I know this is a long thing, but that's all I really had to say. I just wanted to get those things off my chest. Me being a WWE fan, I just wanted to put out there how I felt and how I feel about the brand and how I feel as a fan. And again, like I said 2 other times in this video, I do realize that it's fake. But again, it's a performance. You go to a play, you go to see a performance, you want to see the performance performed at its optimal level. And that's all I'm asking for. This is your boy, Willie Young, and I'm going to leave you like I always leave you. I'll see you next time if you don't see me first. Peace out, people.